Good evening, this is Anthony. So I heard a story today about an incident that occurred on a film set where an actress was uncomfortable with a wardrobe change that essentially took what was supposed to be an alluring outfit, something that was but tasteful, but an alluring outfit, but she was asked at the last minute to change her wardrobe and put on something much skimpier that she was far less comfortable with. And so I thought today what I would do is I would talk a little bit about conduct on set for film sets. So this is not an uncommon occurrence, unfortunately. And there have been measures in recent years to help protect actors and crew and cast and everybody on set from unreasonable and harassing workplace situations. There is still some poor and bad behavior that will occur, and it often comes from a power position. So it's usually from a producer or a director or something along those lines. What I want to do is tell you about what my perspective is on creating a safe set. So is nudity okay on a film set? And the bottom line is, if your story requires, or if your story is asking for an actor to be nude or to be dressed provocatively, or for a very passionate sex scene, or just a kiss between two actors, or a hug, the film industry has come up with safeguards to make sure that every type of situation that is like this is done in a way that protects the safe space for everybody involved. And so there really isn't any excuse for there to be a situation where an actor is made to feel pressured into doing something that they didn't agree to or that they are uncomfortable with at any rate. The first thing that we do now is we bring on an intimacy coordinator. And on the film sets that I've been involved in, the intimacy coordinator has been such an invaluable resource for both looking through the script for any potential dangers, but also just for acting as an education tool and a protector for the cast, for the director, and for the crew from any situation that could make you feel uncomfortable. Think about the movie as a workplace environment. There are no real workplace environments where it's possible for your work colleague to be asked to kiss another employee and have that be part of the job, or to be nude, or to engage in a simulated sex scene with another employee. I mean, it seems kind of ridiculous. If this happened at a Costco or at a Walmart, this would be outrageous. But we have this in the film industry because we're telling stories, and oftentimes we're telling human stories, and many human stories are about relationships. And we want there to be some level of intimacy with the audience. So the intimacy coordinator has become a really invaluable resource, because what they will do is they will have private conversations with the cast. They will have private conversations with the director. They will look through the script and identify any potential hazards. They will give the cast tools to deal with both the situation at hand. So if it's a love scene or a kissing scene, or if it's a nude scene or something along those lines, they'll give the cast tools to protect themselves, ensure that the crew and that the production is providing the necessary safe spaces. So for example, closing the set when appropriate. And when we talk about closing the set, we're talking about having the set open only to the absolute essential people that are necessary in order to capture the moment properly. So obviously you need to have a camera on the set, and the frame needs to be in focus. So, the camera team, or at least the focus puller and the camera operator, have to be visibly able to see the monitor, or visibly able to see the set or the screen. The director is likely also responsible and has to be able to see what they're getting, because they have to make sure that they got it right. At that point, we start to get into the area of who really needs to be looking at the monitor or needs to be on set in that moment. And that comes down to the intimacy coordinator making a judgment call based on the situation at hand. And no two situations are the same. So an intimacy coordinator is, first of all, your first line of defense. And the one great thing about it from a production standpoint, and this is me talking as a producer, is that it kind of insulates you from having to make that judgment call yourself. Like, I don't want to be in a situation where I have to say, oh, I think it'll be okay, or the actor feels like they need to somehow they don't want to cause a stir, so they feel uncomfortable even bringing up their own discomfort in front of me or in front of a director or in front of anybody else. And that's why I'm really happy that there are intimacy coordinators right now, and they are worth every penny you put into it, because I think that they have an opportunity to make the sets far more safe and just a better experience for everyone. Doesn't mean that it's going to take away all of the self-consciousness and all of the feelings one gets when they're put in that kind of an intimate situation. And oftentimes, I mean, again, this is not meant to make light of it, but sometimes, the two actors who are supposed to be falling in love with each other don't like each other, or are having issues with each other. An intimacy coordinator can really be useful to give both of them tools that they can use to still get the scene proper, but then to not compromise their own values or their own morals in order to do so. And then some other things that common sense things that production should be taking care of. First of all, when we're talking about wardrobe, the actor should have the final say on any wardrobe that can cause them to feel uncomfortable, or that can cause them to be put on display, or anything like that. Bathing suits, lingerie, underwear, nudity, all of these things are totally within the actor's purview to sign off on and feel comfortable with. And when that happens, there should be no deviation from that. We shouldn't decide on the day of filming, we're going to change the wardrobe into something a little bit more revealing, or we're going to change the nature of the love scene you're about to have. I want to see it be more intimate, and I want to see more than just what we discussed and what you had agreed upon, and so on. And putting the actor in that kind of an uncomfortable situation, I just don't understand what the purpose of that is. If the truth is you're trying to create a story and that this is fiction, then the intimacy should be treated with the same level of, hey, look, we find ways to make this pretend world work. For me personally, I think that when a producer or a director changes like that on the day of shooting, or with no time for the actor to weigh in or react or to assess the situation appropriately, or they do it on a day when there's no intimacy coordinator, I think that that's basically a way of someone trying to get away with something. And I think of it the same way as I do when we talk about doing a stunt, or when we talk about doing some kind of a special effect. If we haven't discussed it in prep and it hasn't been agreed upon by all the parties who need to be a part of it, then it should not be done. You can't make those kind of changes on set. Now, you can certainly change a shirt from a green shirt to a blue shirt, or something along those lines. Or in the case of a camera, you can make new decisions about camera angles as well, as long as, again, you're not encroaching on the actor's safe space. So for example, in a love scene, if you can't just sit there and go, okay, now we're going to get in really tight on a piece of genitalia. That's not appropriate. I guess what I wanted to say is that, hearing this today made me really rethink that we still have a long way to go when it comes to improving set safety. If we want to start creating situations where workers are made to feel not at ease and not comfortable coming to set because of a perceived power imbalance in that regard between the producer and the director, then I don't really want to be a part of those kind of productions. It's important for other people to stand up for the rights of their employees, especially when in a situation where there is a power imbalance. And as a producer, as a production manager, and as a director, or as a first assistant director, or a head of department, silence is tolerance. And if you stay silent, you are tolerating the activity that is happening. And if I'm a producer on that set and I am aware of something that's going on, it is my duty to make sure that it is taken care of. And I don't think that there's an excuse for that. I mean, we're doing pretend for a living. Let's make sure that the pretend is safe, harmonious, and let's tell good stories in the right way. And get an intimacy coordinator. Have a great night.